Today I'm going to walk you guys through how to do the Tork TCU tune for your Kia Stinger. Going to make the car shift a little faster. It's supposed to take I think it's 0.3 seconds off of your quarter-mile time and 0 to 60 time. So the way that I chose to do this was to buy a used TCU off of eBay. That way I could drive my car while Tork is tuning mine. Your TCU is this little computer right here. So if you take a look at this label, you can read that and find one online with the same matching numbers. I've heard that they all work if your car is an H-shift transmission, which is, you have this style shifter. Easiest way to make sure the TCU will work for your car is to make sure it matches that number. So this is my spare transmission computer that I got off of eBay. It cost me around 120 bucks. So next you're gonna go on Tork's website and purchase your TCU tune. It's around $200, and then they'll send you an email and then they're gonna send you information on how to ship it to them. Put your TCU and the piece of paper with the information that Tork was asking for in a small flat rate box. Flat rate postage costs about $10. I have just received back my now tuned TCU from Tork. I placed the order on January 15th. I got the notice to send out the old TCU on January 17th, and I received this back in the mail on the 29th. So about 2 days to process the order. And then I sent it over, and it took about 12 days for me to get my tuned one back. That's one of the reasons that I wanted to go with a second TCU rather than have my car down for 12 days. So this TCU is very well bubble wrapped, but here she is. They don't need to open the TCU to tune it. So this is identical to the exact thing that I sent out. So next we're gonna put it in the car. So I've heard it both ways, that you do and don't need to, but the first thing you wanna do whenever you're messing with anything electrical is to disconnect the battery. So in the trunk, you're just gonna pull up this carpet piece first. So with that carpet piece off, next you're gonna take off this trim cover for your spare tire and your spare tool kit. So this is your jack and everything. And now you'll undo this nut in the middle. So there is this ground here. I have seen some people say that you can just disconnect this ground to disconnect the battery, but I like to disconnect it at the battery itself just for extra precautions. So here's your battery. This exposed one is the negative battery terminal. The positive is inside that box. The reason I don't like to disconnect it there is because I don't know where this guy goes. And so if you just disconnect this, then this guy is still attached to this harness. So I just like to do it the old school way. Just unscrew this one. So that is a 10 mil. So you just need to loosen that up a little bit, and then you can pull that off. And now your battery is disconnected. Now that your battery is disconnected, we can go ahead and release this plug. So you're gonna press down on this little thing. Sometimes you need a screwdriver for that. You'll press down on that, and that will release this clip, which then you just push, takes a little bit of force, down. That will lift up on that plug. Then you can pull this out. Next, we're gonna undo these bolts that hold it to the bracket. There are 4 of them. I used a combination of different 10 mil wrenches to get that off. Something between these 3, a small size with a long extension or a normal size, worked pretty well. The front 2 nuts were a little tight to get off. Like they never got finger tight. I had to use the wrench the entire way. But the back 2, once you cracked them loose, you could spin them off by hand. Another alternative is to remove this bracket with this bolt here and with those down underneath underneath there, but this is your turbo and oil lines right there. And I just drove the car, so those are very hot. That's why I didn't go that way. So with those bolts removed, you can pull out your old TCU and put in your new TCU. So next you can very carefully reconnect this connector. Make sure that you do not have any bent pins, that you're going in completely straight. Should easily sit down in there. Yep. And then once you press this, should lock into place. Go back to the trunk, reconnect your battery. Tighten the sucker down. Put your spare tire back in. Tighten down this locking nut. Put the emergency toolkit back in. You're gonna put your trunk trim back in. Make sure that's set down all nice. Put the trunk carpet back in, and you are all set. So I hope this video helped kind of explain the process for how to install a Tork TCU, how to get your TCU tuned. The last thing I'm gonna do here is post my old TCU up for sale on eBay, get the money back that I spent to buy my spare, and take this thing for a drive. Thanks for watching.